This is a video interview with Lorenzo Sabatini, who you can also find in the winter issue of SirK Magazine. Go and download it. It's free. You're an editor, a fashion designer and a social media manager. What can you not do? Who is Lorenzo Sabatini?
Hi dear Kris, first of all thank you for having me, and I have to apologize earlier for my English that maybe is not correct sometimes. Well, you already described everything I do perfectly, and I'm based in southern Tuscany. I grew up in Orbetello, a lagoon place here in southern Tuscany, and I'm actually living in Porto Ercole, a seaside place close to Orbetello, and yes, this is where I am now.
I know you graduated in literature and philosophy. Many people in the UK think philosophy is a useless subject, but how has it helped you in your work or your life?
Yes, that is correct. I graduated in literature and philosophy at the University of Florence, and I think philosophy helped me to shape my way of thinking mostly, I guess, and it helps me daily when I write, mostly in my work as an editor. But thinking is also part of my creative process when I design garments, and so I think it's really useful, and I use this subject every day actually. Yeah.
How did you start working as an editor?
I started working as an editor in Milan. I've been the fashion collaborator of a stylist named Lucio Colapietro, a freelance stylist based in Milan that at the time he was the fashion editor of L'Officiel Azerbaijan. So I started assisting him on editorials, photo shooting and stuff like that, but he always encouraged me daily in everything I was doing. So I told him, my dream more than becoming a stylist is to write about fashion, and so he told me, you want to write, I give you this chance, write for L'Officiel Azerbaijan. So this is how I started, and after that many other lucky meetings came in my life, and so after 4 years I became a publicist. Yes.
Do you prefer editing or designing?
Well, that's tough questions. If I prefer editing or designing, well, I can tell you that to me actually it's complementary, because I always have with me my diary, a sketchbook where I write things and I draw sketches. So everything in my mind starts with a sign, and there are some things that I really like about designing, like thinking about the volumes, the shape or the placement of the pattern. And what I mostly love about editing is always to find new way of expression. And my identity style as an editor is musical, I would say, because I always try to mention a song, or in my little experience I always try to make it musical, and yeah, that's my style of writing. And just to be myself, I want it to be recognizable, and I don't prefer one or another. I really love both things, and I think I really need to express myself in all these fields. Yes.
What was the Italian Star project and how were you involved?
Italian Star project was a reality about fashion that went on air on television in 2012, already 8 years ago. Time flies. And it was hosted by Alessia Mocha, which is a popular stylist in Italy, and now she lives in Miami. And she was organizing this editorial with Celeb, and she was filming with her crew the behind the scene of realizing an editorial. So it was my first approach to the fashion world, because I did it after immediately finishing my university course, and I was working there as hair assistant. So I was involved because a lovely couple that were living in the same building where my parents had their apartment knew the Alessia, and so they introduced me to her. So I went to Rome from Orbetello, and I went to meet her, and then she accepted me to be a part of their team. And it was a lovely experience, actually, because it was very stimulating, and it was an important school to me, because she taught me how to make trend research, and I started to know how to be in contact with press offices, started working with Milan, Paris, New York, and it was actually really stimulating. I have lovely memories about that time. Yeah.
So now you are a fashion designer. In fact, I'm wearing one of your t-shirts right now. The link you can see on your screen now is where you can go to find out more about his fashion designs. What got you into fashion?
Oh, thanks for showing my website. I really appreciate it. And what got me into fashion? So I actually wanted to become a visual artist. I loved the clubbing scene when I was 20. I still love it, actually. But I wanted to be one of those artists that that the video appears on the screen during clubbing festivals, and I want to create that video, actually. And so I went to Florence, and I started a school dedicated to animation, but it was a failure. That didn't really fit me. And so I came back in my little village. I was so sad. And a close friend of mine, Helena, that I have to say thanks to her, told me, I know you love Florence, because I really love Florence. And so she was like, if you want to come back to Florence, I give you an idea. I saw online there's this course about fashion and to become a fashion designer at the University of Literature and Philosophy. It's a new course. And I was like, oh, okay, let's see. I'm not of these fashion kids that were attracted to fashion from a very young age, actually. I honestly didn't care when I was really young. But I started appreciated when I was studying it, and especially for all this culture and all these reference that fashion has, including movies, theater, cinema, and that really got me into the subject, and that is still fascinating me nowadays about fashion. And so yeah, now I'm starting this career as a sustainable fashion designer. It's a slow fashion brand, my anonymous line, and it's based on upcycled vintage garments and organic t-shirt mostly. And we also sell pieces of art from selected independent artists that have an aesthetics close to my vision. And go and discover it, and I hope you like it. Thanks.
How would you define your brand?
Well, In my brand, I wanted to celebrate my roots because I was born in Colombia and I've been adopted by Italians, but I also wanted to be Italian, and so I wanted to be a bit of jungle and a bit of punkish, because that's how I consider myself, a bit do it yourself, go and take it. That's my philosophy of life. And at the same time I wanted to have quality of design, and so the manufacturer I wanted to be really strong and really well made mostly. And so I would define it a crossover between Colombia and Italy, yeah. And then with a hint of Japan, because Japan is my favorite homeland in the world, and so I wanted to celebrate that here. It's like a crazy trip. Yes.
How much time do you spend on social media? Do you use it for work?
Well, apart being an editor and a sustainable fashion designer, I'm also working as social media manager for some brands, not only about fashion but also restaurants and green brands, and so I have to post and watch daily, looking comments, and so I regularly spend like 3 hours a day working on social media, especially Instagram. Then for Facebook, I have to manage the chat, the promotions. I would say 3 hours a day. Then I'm helped by this program, like Facebook content creator, that helps to manage the publication. But apart that, I stay like 3 hours a day, yeah.
Thank you, Lorenzo, for taking time to do this little video interview with us. Remember, go and download the winter issue of SirK Magazine to find out more.